When you think about 1968, it was a year of such turmoil and terrible things happening, and yet something so remarkable was happening here in our own little valley. Down at the Napa Valley Register, we had a brand new reporter who ended up covering what he thought was probably the most significant story of his career. The story that he wrote, that he banged out on a typewriter, he said. Little did he know that that would probably become such an important story, defining really the Napa Valley that we know today.
The Ag Preserve absolutely transformed the Napa Valley. If you look at what the leading employer of Napa County residents was when the Ag Preserve passed, it was the Mare Island Naval Shipyard. It was a blue-collar town, and we worked in Vallejo.
In my mind, the Ag Preserve was real enlightened, progressive legislation. I don't think anybody would say, wow, let's turn back the clock and have that international airport down in Caneros.
And what that ultimately led to was Napa transforming itself from a bedroom community where people lived here and went elsewhere to work to a community where people live here, work here, and we even import workers from outside because there is so much employment in Napa.
For me, Napa is a place that I believe most immigrant families dream of, and it truly is my family's dream come true.
There was a time when Santa Clara County was the #1 ag county in the Bay Area.
From San Francisco to San Jose and all down El Camino Real, we had orchards and olives, and just not there anymore. It's all one big cement strip.
So my parents saw firsthand really what was happening in the south part of the Bay Area and would come here to Napa in 1965. They were aware that there needed to be established some kind of zoning that would protect the land from being subdivided for commercial, residential, other industrial activities.
You know, the Ag Preserve has not held us back at all. In fact, I think it defines us here as a unique community, rural yet with style and sophistication.
And it's why so many people come to visit the Napa Valley, because we have protected what they wish they had protected in their communities.
It's a recognition by the entire county that we are going to be committed to agriculture for the future. And deciding what that future looks like is where Measure J, Measure P come into play.
With Measures J and P, it's actually put this issue back in the hands of the voters. So no longer is it a question of will the Board of Supervisors necessarily approve this. It's actually in the hands of the people. And I think that's a really strong position to be in, because I think the people of Napa really understand how important this is.
Is here as long as the people want it to be.
I think the joy of living here for us is the ability to have one's work so closely tied into one's life, but in a positive way. I think there's very few places wherein a chef can cook and source the things that they're cooking from within literally a couple miles circumference. If it's foraging in Las Posadas or Bothe, or just the general aesthetic of the place that the Ag Preserve has created, I think we are recipients both in terms of our craft, but also perhaps in terms of our lifestyle.
To me, the biggest challenge we have in Napa is that we are too beautiful. We're too attractive, we're too wonderful, and what that means is everybody wants to live here.
That is the unintended consequence of our own success here.
There will always be more and more pressure exerted on this area to accommodate additional housing and to accommodate additional commercial and industrial growth as well.
I think there's a considerable amount of hope that people are going to continue to see the benefits of this, because they can quite literally see the benefit.
I think that today there are a lot of people who don't know the whole story of it, and so it's a story we keep telling again and again. We just don't want people to forget why the valley looks the way it does.
We are connected to the land, to its past, to its future. It's a multi-generational effort.
And I look forward to what that brings in the future, that we will work together to ensure that these grapes are always a part of Napa.